Welcome to the news. You're with me, Joab Frank Chakaza. The headlines. Less than half of palliative care patients access assistance in the country. World Bank processes development of a country climate development preparation of World Hospice and Palliative Care Day in Lilongwe that less than half of patients that need palliative care in the country get the needed assistance. Principal Secretary in the Ministry of Health, Dr. Charles Mwansambo, revealed that the country has 176,000 people that need care, hence the need to not only train healthcare workers, but also hold massive awareness initiatives. Lamek Tambo, Executive Director of the Palliative Care Association of Malawi, says the need to incorporate palliative care into the mainstream healthcare services cannot be overemphasized to increase awareness and reduce the pain of life-limiting illnesses. We have this report that is going to come to you later in our bulletins. The World Bank in Malawi, in its drive to support Malawi's efforts towards more diversified, competitive, shock-resilient socio-economic growth, is developing a country climate development report for desirable results. Senior Disaster Risk Management Specialist for the bank in Malawi, Francis Nkoka, says development of the report will be done in a space of 1 year to help guide proper response to disasters while advancing development projects. He was speaking on the sidelines of a green climate walk in Lilongwe by climate justice advocates ahead of the Conference of Parties, COP26, scheduled for Glasgow, Scotland.
We want to do thorough investigations in terms of the development efforts and how the development efforts are affected by the climate changes. So the idea is to identify where are the areas in Malawi we need to focus so that all our development efforts, they meet the objectives. Because when we are implementing a number of activities, we are implementing activities on roads, education, agriculture. If we do not understand how these efforts are affected by the climate change, then all our efforts and all the investments which have been there for a long time will not achieve the intended goals. We have a number of projects in the country which we are looking at strengthening the institutions of climate change, strengthening the legal framework of climate change. We are also investing in different sectors, so be it transport, education, health. So we are doing a lot of activities. But what we are doing more is to make sure the country is more resilient for future risks and disasters, but also the country is more prepared for future disasters and other risks.
Meanwhile, Association of Environmental Journalists in Malawi, in collaboration with climate justice advocates, has petitioned leaders from developed nations through the UK government in Malawi to start committing their $100 billion United States dollars pledge annually towards climate financing for adaptation and mitigation.
The main reason we usually have these green walks is to raise awareness on a range of environmental challenges which we are facing as a country. Last time we were talking about the thin plastics, and this year we zeroed in on the climate change problem, and we are glad that it also coincided with the COP26, which the UK government is hosting and Malawi is participating. And our message is that COP26 must deliver. We are tired of the same stories. We need to make progress. Our people are suffering. Our agricultural production is going down. Nothing is really working the way we want. We need the finances to implement a couple of adaptation and mitigation programs. This is why we think that the presence of the president at the negotiation table in Glasgow, UK, is very vital and critical for Malawi. So we hope that he's really going to seize the opportunity of making sure that Malawi should count in the UK. He must bring money back home, but he should also take the opportunity to understand the magnitude or seriousness of the problem, because sometimes when you just talk about these things without listening to so much stories that are going to come out of the COP26, it really brings some challenges. So we are really excited that Malawi is participating, but at the same time we just don't want this to be just another talk. We want the results. We want the money on the ground. We want the welfare of our people to improve on the ground.
UK Deputy High Commissioner to Malawi David Perks says his country is already showing commitment to financing initiatives aimed at helping poor nations like Malawi respond to climate change shocks.
So, because we think it's a really important, we have a commitment to make, and it's an important issue, and we like to demonstrate to the world that we take it very seriously. So that's why we're doubling our funding.
And how important is this COP26 this year?
It's extremely important. It's the first one. As you know, we've had COVID, so recent ones have been virtual. This is the first, I think, really big event for a while coming to Glasgow. It's the biggest international event we've ever had in the United Kingdom, for instance. So it's a very important, we're at a crucial moment, and I think everyone recognises around the world that this is a big event. That's why so many high-level people come into the UK for this conference.
And the youth participation and the youth involvement in climate change, how important is it?
Very important. They're very proactive in the UK and all around the world. The youth have a huge voice. They get more and more concerned. I have young adults. They're my children, but they're adults, and they're very concerned. And them and their friends often talk to me about climate change and how they think, what they think should be done, and they're getting more and more proactive, which is very important.
Polling materials, including ballot papers for the October 26 parliamentary and local government by-elections, have arrived in the country with a promise from Malawi Electoral Commission Chairperson Justice Dr. Chifundo Kajali for transparent and credible by-elections. Justice Dr. Kajali says security has been tightened to achieve credible elections in the three constituencies in Dedza, Mzimba and Nkhotakota, and one ward in Balaka. Chimwemwe Barata reports.
MEC Chairperson Justice Dr. Chifundo Kajali led party representatives inspecting ballot papers for the October 26th by-election. The by-elections are to be conducted in Nkhotakota North East, Mzimba East and Dedza Central East, and one ward in Balaga. Dr. Kajali assured electorates of a transparent by-election as the ballot papers arrived through Kamuzu International Airport.
And we continue to emphasize to the different parties taking part in these elections to ensure that peace prevails, to ensure that they encourage their voters to come out. And we just issued a reminding everybody supposed to cease on Sunday morning, and that beyond that actually to continue to have more political
ballots are to arrive for the respective. A chair has since of a tight security laws are being dispersed. Says Chimwemwe.
Hot on the heels of an alleged sexual harassment scandal at state broadcaster Malawi Broadcasting Corporation (MBC) by former Director General Aubrey Sumbuleta, Minister of Gender Patricia Galiati joined MBC to launch a sexual harassment policy at the workplace at its headquarters in Blantyre Friday. Galiati told employees at MBC to take the policy as an opportunity to break the silence by making use of the reporting structures and make sure all forms of harassment are addressed. She explains.
A number of women, they are not even coming forth with in the workplace because of fear of being sexually harassed. And this policy is going to protect both men and women. We know some women provoke men as well. So we didn't even leave a stone unturned just to advise also the women that they need not to provoke the men. But also the men, knowing that 45% are those women who are really harassed sexually in their workplace. We are calling upon our Malawian men to maintain the integrity and respect the women who are coming working in different institutions, be it private as well as public. We've called also the Malawi Chamber of the Confederation of the Malawi Confederation Chamber of Commerce and Industry to influence companies as well to have the policy. As a ministry, the follow-up policy is underway that in each and every civil service institutions they need to have this policy, and we need to be pushing them to have it because we have a number of cases coming forthwith that women are being harassed.
MPC recently compensated 4 female employees at the state broadcaster following a Malawi Human Rights Commission investigation report which exposed the alleged sexual misconduct. Meanwhile, MBC board chairperson Reverend Vasco Kachibaba has warned employees at MBC that onwards, after this policy launch, any deviant will face the consequences alone.
Before, we did not have a policy like this, so people were able to sneak out and probably stay behind the corporation. But now we are saying we have launched this policy. Everyone knows and everyone knows where to report it to, what to do if something happens to him or her. So it's a plain truth to say that anyone who be part and parcel of this malpractice will face the punishment alone, and that the MBC will not back him. If anything, will expose him or her.
Going back to health issues, Secretary for Health Dr. Charles Mansambo says Malawi will this Saturday receive a record 696,000 doses of COVID-19 vaccines through Kamuzu International Airport Kia. He says this will include 360,000 doses of AstraZeneca and 336,000 doses of Johnson & Johnson. Dr. Mansambo says later in the fourth quarter of the year, Malawi is expecting to receive 700,830 doses of Pfizer vaccine. Dr. Mansambo spoke with our Latoya Kadamanja.
Malawi has two main vaccines that we're using. There's the J&J and also the AstraZeneca. The majority of people have gotten the AstraZeneca one. But I wouldn't say that these people are preferring one over the other. We started with AstraZeneca, so that's what people were used to initially. But when we came with Johnson & Johnson, there was initial hesitancy. But we've seen recently that people are demanding that the doses were running low, but I'm glad to report that we're getting more doses over this coming weekend. It's my hope that a lot more people will come for vaccination so that come end of next year we'll have reached our target of 70%.
You're watching the news here on Zodiac. We'll be back with more.
Build big, build quality. If you're thinking of having building materials,
Sompenya Amalawi watukula Malawi 2063 Ufika 2063 kale Wokomera aliyensi Achinyamata tikwira ne manja Watukula Malawi Achinyamata tikale patsugo Watukula Malawi 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 wozimira paeka Malawi Malawi Wokomera aliyensi Malawi 2063 kusinda dziko lathu mokomera aliyense.
If there's one thing that all soaps do, it's wash. From buckets to basins, bathrooms to streams, and everything in between.
All soaps wash.
Yes, but Protex is different. Its reinvented formula with flaxseed oil boosts your skin's natural anti-germ defenses by 10 times more, protecting you against 99.9% of germs. So what keeps us healthy?
Protex!
Good health starts here.
Welcome back. A look at the headlines as we proceed. Less than half of palliative care patients access assistance in the country. World Bank processes development of a country climate development report to guide effective responses. The price of cooking oil hiked again amidst concerns of a rising cost of living. And elsewhere, nurses in Eswatini refuse to treat police officers accusing them of shooting colleagues during a pro-democracy rally. Moving on with the news, consumers will be required to pay more to buy cooking oil as the price of the commodity has once again gone up on the local market from an average cost of 1,700 kwacha to 2,300 kwacha per litre. Cooking Oil Manufacturers Association of Malawi says this is due to the rise in the cost of palm oil on the global market. Meanwhile, the Ministry of Industry says discussions are still underway with all relevant stakeholders to find lasting solutions to this. We have a report filed by Winston Kaimira.
Our assessment shows that cooking oil is now being sold at about 2,300 kwacha per litre, up from 1,700 kwacha. A 2-litre bottle of the commodity is now at 4,000 kwacha in most of the shops in the capital Lilongwe. President of the Cooking Oil Manufacturers Association of Malawi, Peter Goma, says this is because the cost of palm oil, which is one of the major ingredients in cooking oil production, has gone up globally.
You can't expect the global prices to change within 3 weeks. And also, you're on the ground that fuel has risen just 2 weeks ago. So what do you expect processors to do or manufacturers to do?
But the Minister of Industry, through its spokesperson Yamikani Kadzakumanja, says discussions are still underway with all relevant stakeholders to find lasting solutions to this. He says the ministry awaits a proposal from the Cooking Oil Manufacturers Association of Malawi to consider reducing duty on the importation of palm oil.
The manufacturers were tasked to come up with their production cost, so that as government, if we are going to bring in other solutions with regard to reduction in taxes, we should be able to determine what will be the impact on the price.
Meanwhile, Executive Director for the Consumers Association of Malawi, John Capito, says government must find lasting solutions to this, saying consumers are suffering.
Why are we having to import cooking oil from outside the country when we are producing soya, groundnuts in the country? What is it that is so special about importing this product? I think this is what I think would be very important.
There was also an upward adjustment in the cost of cooking oil last year. This is Winston Kaimira reporting for Zodiak in Lilongwe.
That's about what we had time for in this news edition. Before we go, a look at the headlines.